All right, welcome, ladies. For those who chose Power One, I don't care if you're part of LGBTQ. It's how men view you, right? Somebody could be in the military. I'm here in military. I feel like this is the power you channeling. You walk in with your ego. You know, I'm a wounded vet. I'm a victim. You know what I mean? Or, you know, I changed my life. I'm saved now. I'm a pastor. Everybody admire me. I'm an evangelist. How men view you. I think men view you that you forget where you come from. Now, I am an advocate for moving myself around people who look at me like that because I believe in growth. I attract men and women, LGBT, wealth, it don't matter. We're elevated. Like, you know, we talk about why we act that way. How did we become that way? You know, your circumstances, your dysfunction, your upbringing or something like that. But how men view you, you could have had a salacious past. I'm not, you know, you could have. We can already see, and they still hold you to that, right? So how do men view you? And I could be wrong. I wouldn't be surprised. I see some negative cards and devil cards. I'm feeling that. Yeah. Some of you guys, I feel like you might have been out there promiscuous, or you know, sleeping with somebody else's husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. Because I feel lesbians in this pile. I don't even know why you're looking in this pile. You could have been operating out of society says, you know, it's the norm to be heterosexual, and then you know, married or dated men, and then you had some children or a child out of that. I definitely feel like some people are aging well, and I feel like some people are aging horribly. Even if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, you have to decide on who you are. I do see somebody with, you know how some people have one or two kids, or one child is part of LGBTQ or transgender, you know what I mean, or pansexual, or you know, fluid, or you know, Billy D. Williams says he's fluid. Somebody's name could be Billy, but I see somebody got maybe 5 kids that's a part of it. I do feel like a lot of men feel like, you know, my right foot has not stopped burning, that you get a lot of karma. You get a lot of karma. I do see some instigators, agitators, shit starters, gossipers. I do feel like people who chose Power One. I hear somebody name with an M, a G, a L. I do S. I don't want to call no. I can't call no names. But I do feel like oh God, I can't. How do men view you? What was I going to say? Oh, throw the rock, hide your hand. That's the energy I got, and I could be wrong, right? Now, when I did men, you know, there's 8 billion people on the planet. Come on now, all readings aren't going to be perfect patty. It's the spiritual world. It's what they pick up, and you know. So let's look at how men view you. I'm talking a lot. Some of you guys don't talk a lot because I think that you do a lot of whispering, a lot of behind somebody's back talking. So when you talk to selective people, or girl who you know you can talk to. That's what I'm hearing, right? You know, yeah, you could be clique mentality. You could have some biases, definitely some biases, or some racist prejudice views or something like that. I definitely don't see people in the middle here, meaning aging. I keep seeing aging. Either you're aging terribly, you have people telling you aging great, or you're aging great, right? And you know it. You know, I don't know. Sorry, I got to do that. Yeah. Somebody celebrated their 60th, 70th birthday. Somebody's 30. I could be wrong. 333. Look up the number 33. I'm hearing that, and I'm hearing 666. 666 is a number of beginning. It doesn't necessarily mean something evil. How do men view the women that chose Power One? And I could be wrong. I invite you into my readings, but then I go there, right? I'm known for that, right? But I'm not going to be mean about it. But I'm going to go ahead and do a reading. How do men? Almost messing around. Look at the devil. I'm gonna let it spin back. If it don't come back, it's okay. Possessive, angry, opportunist, lustful. You could have been bisexual. You could have did threesomes. You could have did orgies. You could have been that saved person. You had a whole salacious lifestyle. You know what I mean? And you didn't want anybody to know, and you changed, or people didn't know, and now you're saved now. You know what I mean? You're saved, and so now you become extremely judgmental. You know, you could have an attitude. You could throw the rock, hide your hand. Anything you think the devil's big and bad enough to do, you could be physically, I mean physically beautiful, attractive women, the body, and I think you used that. You could have messed with somebody, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. I feel some bisexual in here. This is the sneaky pal, the cunning pal, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I feel a lot of devil energy, and it's funny that I said that, right? Now, as a tarot reader, a psychic, a seer, a clairvoyant, whatever names you want to, you know, shaman, whatever, when we throwing cards, and I forgot the ones that throw the rocks, they'll have some of those too, read the rocks and all that. We don't have to flip the cards, right? Because a lot of us have gifts that we do intuitive, and I've felt that devil energy, right? My left foot is burning. They're like, I don't want to hear this, because I've changed, but it's how men view you. Because you remember, ladies, there's things that change in life and they evolve, but there's some things stay the same. And I'm going to give you an example. Men say that you can do what they do, or they give you this equality and equal rights, but then at the end of the day, then they go, oh, your body count is high, or I remember this, or I remember that, or you're not marriage material, or they did hoes, harlots become housewives every day. They get married every day, but that man throws it in their face, or the relationship doesn't last that long, or they look at them and perceive them a certain way. So that's why I remember my aunt used to say, she used to say, my baby aunt used to say that women are like reputation. Women are like eggs. You can crack an egg, but you can't put it back together. And I've been saying this for years. When she taught me that, that stuck with me, reputation. And men are like water. They're like ice. And they're like ice. You know how ice melts? But you can still sweep up that water and put it in the freezer, meaning they can reinvent their reputation. I don't make the rules. This is a patriarchy society. It's always been that way. You know what I mean? So they can tell you one thing, but then they can still see you that way, you know, as a thief, or you was incarcerated, or you were a liar, or you was, you know, you was out there, or you were sneaky or something like that, or you was a shit starter, instigator, agitator, or you're a very jealous, insecure, envious person, you know what I mean? Or you put yourself in compromising positions, and then you throw the rock and hide the hand, right? Okay, I'm sorry, that's just the kind of reading I'm doing. I know you're going to exit it out. You know, you could have changed your life around. You could be up in the pulpit, you know, you could be a good mother. Some of them feel like you're a neglectful mother, you know what I mean? Because just because you have children in the house don't mean that you're spending time with them. You're teaching them. A lot of your children have been wayward, meaning, you know, on drugs, or got a whole bunch of children, or they just didn't go right. And it's a reflection of your parenting, right? Because I have to deal with my kids and my parenting. Like they're leaders, and they're hard, and they, you know, maybe they feel like they have something to prove. You know what I'm saying? It's because, you know, we moved a lot. You know, we didn't have stability. So the philosophy teaches you that you have gadflies, meaning that you need some kind of push. So from their circumstances, and mommy being, you know, mentally unstable and operating out of dysfunction and moving here and moving there and everything, they wanted stability. They wanted to create a generational wealth. They wanted to break ancestral patterns of behavior. They could have went the opposite way. They could have been incarcerated. They could have been on drugs. You know, my mom and dad have an issue with alcoholism, and you know, or you know, whatever. And I've seen that in my millennials, right? They know how to do my tarot card readings. I try to identify. I don't give you too much, but I give you enough to know that we're down to earth, so you don't have to feel like I'm judging you. I'm just reading the cards, where a lot of you guys could have done things and you blame your children. And I feel like men look at you and go, you have to take a lot of that responsibility. And I know I did, ladies. I look in the mirror. I have 3 grown adults, and they all look at me from different vantage points. And I said, Terry, you could have done a lot better. And I feel like that's how men view you, for whatever it is in the walks of, you know, in your life. You could be a mom now, a grandmother, a great grandmother, aunt, I don't know. How do men view women in Power One? I knew this was gonna be tough. That's why I send it to last, because I opened it up to Facebook, right? And it's a different energy. It's a different breed of women. So I don't know who's looking in, right? I hear Jay. I hear Jody. I'm not good with names. That's tarot card readers. I mean, this one tarot card reader, she said my name and the 2 men I was crushing on like 5 times. I said, oh, she's off the chain. No wonder she got. There's so many great tarot card readers and psychics and clairvoyants, men, women, off socioeconomic background, disabilities, race, globally. It don't matter. It don't matter. Drug addicts, incarcerated, you know, Christians, Muslims, Hindu, Easter fly. You have to Google it. You'll see. You're not alone, right? This is a spiritual world. How do men see women? I'm channeling. How do men see women in Power One? Help me get out of self. Help me get out of ego. A lot of ego. A lot of bravado. Okay, this is the Seven of Swords. This means deception, betrayal, lies, deceit, sneakiness, but it came upside down. You've changed a lot. This is the power where women go, I'm about to exit out because I'm not like that anymore, but they still remind you of your past. Even if they don't say it, their energy is there. So they feel like you changed a lot, right? You could have, operated out of these behaviors: cunning, calculating, gaslighting, emotionally manipulative, like I said, betrayal, cheating, sneaking, cunning, theft. I hear theft. You know what I'm saying? Somebody could have wrote some bad checks, or somebody could have stole something, whatever. I don't know. But that's how they see. But they feel like you changed. So how do men view you that you operated out of the Seven of Swords, but you've changed a lot? I wouldn't say 100%. How do men view pile 1? You could be drawn to pile 2. You could be drawn to more than one pile. Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles talks about somebody slow. You know what I mean? And you ascend in a time, like, so say, let's just do 1930. What is that? The oppression, the gloss shoes and rosy rivet when women had to go in the steel mill. Somebody could be from Pennsylvania. Somebody could work in the steel mill. Could be from the East Coast or something like that. But they had to go and they had to do what men had to do because the men had to go off to war. So you had to step up. So they could look at you as you operate out of masculine energy, like you know how to take lead. Good thing. Maybe not to some men, but you know how to take lead, set goals, take care of your children, your house. You know what I mean? You know how to go out there and work and handle for yourself. But it's slow. It's slow. But this is the only knight that can become a king and then become an emperor. So they know that the women looking in, you got potential. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all have become that emperor type, energy. You know what I mean? You're strong, you're mentally stable. People come to you for wise counsel. But because it's slow, leadership, confidence, I don't want to miss that because I want to build you up. I'm not here to tear you down. I'm just reading the cards. But it was slow. This is the slowest thing in the deck. So when I'm asking about a man, is he coming? And I pull this on, I don't know when it's going to happen. So you could have been slow to learn some lessons. Like maybe you're a person that gossip, talked about people, divisive, flip-floppy energy. Like I say, I keep hearing shit starter, instigator, throw the rock, hide the hand, had a salacious type, past, something like that. And it took you a while to get it. It took you a while to get it, right? Maybe you had money and you thought you was better than somebody, or you got a little bit of something. You get what I'm saying? Or maybe you had looks and, you were conceited or very arrogant, or maybe you thought you were better. Like it took you mentally, physically, and spiritually for you to become in alignment. And that's how men look at you. But they knew it was there. They was like, I know that if she would act right and do right and be right, or go get saved, because being saved and loving Jesus and, giving your life to Christ is a good thing. That's admirable. That means you're doing something productive. You're trying to elevate, or being a Hindu, or, a Jewish, or studying Eastern philosophy, or maybe tarot card readers, or psychics, or seers, or maybe you're a free thinker, maybe you're an atheist, whatever. You're doing something that's encouraging. I hear mentoring, singing in the church, whatever. There's a lot of Christians in this pile, but they know that it was in you. Like, you don't got to act like that. You don't got to be like that. You don't got to stab him and her or people in the back, right? So they know, but it was slow. That's how they look at it. It was slow for you to arrive. Estimated ETA, estimated time of arrival. You arrived, hopefully, unless you still have a lot of those traits of negativity, you know what I'm saying? But I don't feel like, because I got these two cards, I feel like you changed a lot, right? If you were homophobic, or you had biases, or, racism, or, straight out blatant racism, or, judgmental, extremely judgmental, I think you changed a lot. If you are that type of person and you're looking at a tarot card reading, this might be your first tarot card readings that you've ever looked at, because maybe you didn't consider that because your mind could have been closed, right? How did men view you? Women in pile 1. We got 2 more piles, girl. 2 more piles. How do men view women in pile 1? And I could be wrong. How do men view you? Some of you guys are going gray, but some of you guys look the same. And I don't mean physically, like you. I don't wear eyelashes. I don't wear makeup. I don't do that. I'm just me. And there's nothing wrong with that. Be you. I think, being organic is beautiful. But at the end of the day, we're evolving. Soon people are going to walk in and get BBLs and, and blastocysts and a whole face transplant. And, I love my face. I say I'm never going to get it, but, never say never. And I feel like you keep yourself stuck in that mentality because you feel like it's a sense of superiority. superiority that, you know what I mean? This is my real hair. Don't nobody care about hair anymore. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody care about none of that, right? It's about good character, or people have bad character. The things that were stuck in the past where people cared about, she saved, because we talking about women, I was going to say men, it was a big deal, right? It meant something. Now it doesn't mean anything because you have the World Wide Web, you have the internet. This is how men view you. You could be stuck in that, you know, I got a car, I got a house, I'm retired, or, you know, I keep saying saving. There's a lot of Christians in this pile. Men don't care about that because I'm talking about how men view you, right? They want you to evolve, right? And maybe they act like they do, but maybe in the energy, it's like she's still kind of stuck on that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how men view you. Could be very hasty. You could have blame shifting, you know, the victim, you know, or you could blame other people. It's always somebody else's fault. It's hard for you to look in the mirror at, you know, my right foot has not stopped burning. I had a little left, right, where somebody don't want to hear that. And so they could look at, but you mean well though, right? You know, you could have been verbally aggressive, verbally sparring. I see a lot of sneakiness. Like, you know, like let me just use me, because I like to use me because people get politically correct, right? I'm not in a rush. I just got to stop for a minute and do something. But at the end of the day, people might be like, I try to like you. I try to hang with you. You could be a relative. I don't care. And you see me the way you need to see me because there's a lot of projection in this pile, or there's a lot of control, or there's a lot of superiority, but you minimize who I am. You know, my looks, my intelligence, my talents, my skills. I have a lot of talents and skills, and I'm going to introduce them to Facebook, and they're going to be like, I didn't even know she could do that. I didn't know she could do that, or give you some other videos. You get what I'm saying? But I do that because I wean people on, because they have this perception of who I am because they're so stuck in high school. Now they forget I'm talking to you. I lived in California. When I moved to my small town, it was a totally different milieu of people for me and my sister, right? We should have stayed in California because we were more free-spirited, and I got caught up in stuff that I really didn't enjoy. And I always tell my millennials, I wish we would have never went there, because it would have been a whole different I would have had a whole different view of the world, right? But sometimes we get caught up in our circumstances, right? And that toxicity, and the people in that area, concentrated area, subset, cohort, milieu of people, they see you that way. I remember my mother used to tell me, I had some of the most beautiful skin, right? Because, and then people come up to me and go, your skin looks so good or whatever. And she said that I was her brown baby and I had beautiful skin. But when I moved to my hometown, I was 15, 16. That's acne. And then I would pick my face, put my hand. So people remember, I remember she had spots on her face. It made me forget that whole time because I was 15 when I started getting acne. You get what I'm saying? But that's how they seen me. But that's not all who I am. And I think that's how men look at you as women, that you keep people stuck, restricted because of your projections, your perceptions, and your beliefs, right? But I feel like they feel like you changed a lot. Let me see how to we gonna get there. How do men view women in power? One, sword of truth. When you get in a reading and you get the sword, it means the sword of truth. So whoever, Jesus, Allah, whatever anybody believes, doing tarot card, this is our confirmation. So this is I call them the ancients. That's what they told me to call them, ancients before time. They don't even believe in time. And my ancestors who moved on, my mom, my sister, whoever, right? Relatives I've never met, they're saying, Terry, you're on the right path. This is a confirmation that I'm on the right path, right? If it came upside down, I could be dealing with people who don't want to deal with reality, right? Maybe a lot of you women knew who you were, right? Some of you guys could be 18, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's 18 plus dog material language. Sword of truth. I think that at one time you could have had this fantasy, suspended reality, how you seen yourself. And I think now maybe you start dealing with the truth, right? Like you could be good preachers and pastors and evangelists and stuff if you tell the truth, right? You know what I'm saying? You deal with the truth. You know, I was out there, I was judgmental, I thought I was superior, you know, I was in clique mentality, you know, with my family and friends. I ostracized people, I alienated people, I had selective unity or stuff like that. I've done some things I'm not proud of, but if you're still operating out of this slow, I don't want to really see who I really was, because then it feels like it's taking something away from me, then I'm not going to own my shit. Anything else? How do men see women in power? One. Somebody could be in the church, committed, married. You could have juggled men and women. I see bisexuality. I'm sorry. You could be closeted, hardworking. Some of you guys are financially stable. You know what I mean? See, talks about the king. These are good cards. But there's like, this talks about, I'm gonna tell you, this is coins. Some of you could be Tauruses, Capricorns, and Virgos. I see a lot of coins here. Some of you guys could be, what is the swords? Maybe Aries, Sagittarius, or Gemini. I'm here, Gemini too. Whatever. Fire signs. You don't have to be. Or the people who see you that way, the men, they could be those signs. But you could be very hard workers or whatever. But both of them have an issue with family, right? They're not good with family or raising kids or having relationships, right? And you might have thought you did a great job because you could have been good providers, but your kids came out is a reflection of you, right? People don't want to admit that, but when you start doing your healing, you go, yeah, I see why my kids got mouths. You get what I'm saying? Or I see why, because I go, you know, why y'all work like Mom used to do it? You know, I don't remember that because I moved, but I had to work to take care of them. Now, I didn't have no stability, but I took care of my babies, right? So at the end of the day, you could be very hard workers, but see, King Midas, when King Midas can, King Midas, everything he touched turns to gold. So you could be very creative or talented or have some kind of skills or military, CNA, whatever. You work. And can't nobody call women in this pile lazy. You work, right? But at the end of the day, he touched his own daughter and she turned to gold, so he can't turn her back. So how men look at you is you made a lot of mistakes having preoccupations with something else and not something that was important, like your children, your adolescents, your family, your friends. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh my God, you see the Judgment card. Look at my confirmation. Look up the Justice card. The Justice card talks about karmic debt. So you've probably done a lot of things, how men see you. Maybe you owe people an apology. Maybe you accumulated a lot of karma, negative karma debt, and you have to pay that in some kind of way. Now, karma comes in all kinds of ways. You could have a great life, but your great-great-grandchild, you get what I'm saying? Or so maybe you had a friend or family member won't ever come around you again, and you won't ever have an opportunity to be in their light because maybe you hurt somebody, or maybe it was a man or or a woman or something like that. I have some bisexual or lesbians in this pile. You could have started out with a man, but there's some justice, and maybe that's how men look at you, that you're gonna have to pay for some shit that you did. Maybe your kids tell you that you're gonna have to pay. You know what I'm saying? Anything else? Let's see. And I could be wrong. I'm sorry, one. That's just how it is. Let's kick this. How do men view the women in pile one? How do men view the women in pile one? You got materialistic, superficial. You got King of Hazard and Seven of Swords. You have King of Hazard twice. This is the King. Ooh, shit. I didn't see these. You could have had a catalyst for change. A Tower moment means a quick impact. Boom. Divorce. Your kids said something to you to hurt you. Somebody called you out on your bullshit. Something happened. There was a catalyst to change for some transformations, right? Yeah. Or you could have been in confusion, chaos, a lot of bullshit, some shit, but your intuition told you, I need to move away from this. I need to go to common waters. You could have took your family. You could have moved. You could have relocated. You could be in the same area, but you elevated and you don't be around the same people. And then this is the five of coins. You know what I mean? You could have a hard time establishing relationships, right? You could come off as a good friend, family, mother, cousin, whatever, co-worker, but then it's short term because you could stab people in the back and they could feel like they could trust you, and then you don't really have a sense of direction, and they're like, wait, I want to be with your friend, I want to get to know you, or a family member, something like that, and you put them out in the cold, right? So you could deal with that, right? And so I feel like you met some Tower moments. I don't think you shared with people, but I definitely feel like you met some Tower moments. And this is the King of Hazard. This is the King of Coins. Here he is, right? This is the Rider's Waite, and you see how he looked, right? So maybe you had an imbalance. Maybe when you got money, you were superficial, materialistic. It don't matter. You could have been 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, it's past, present, I don't know, and you thought you were better or greedy or something like that. What else does it say? Distant. You could have been distant, alienated people. I definitely feel like you're a hard worker. Material wealth, personal and family life sucks. Do your confirmation, right? But it could look good. Your house could be clean and all that, but as a seer, I can feel like you could tell me some stories about your kids. You get what I'm saying? Or, or your family members, or whoever you're connected to was influenced by your behavior, destructive behavior. But there was a balance. I feel like you had to learn a balance. You wanted to be more of this King of Pentacles And not this one, tied to material things, superficial things. Don't he look drained, right? But they both are a cautionary tale to be yourself, right? Seven of Wands, this persistent. I definitely think you're persistent, resilient. You could be in competition, or you could put people in competition who ain't even trying to be in competition with you. I don't know why I feel like you ever meet the women like they act like they're competing. Like I'm not competing. I don't even look at you like that. So you can have that energy that I'm competing with people that are, it's illusionary, because a lot of people have their own life. They don't really care about stuff like that, right? You could have a lot of challenging things, or you could be in competition with women. Maybe you mess with somebody's husband, wife, or maybe it could be something as simple as I'm in the church and everybody know I sing, or everybody know I preach the best, and I got everybody to see me. Like, I feel like that. There's a lot of gossip. There's a lot of external factors. Or you could be the type of woman, how men see you, that you're learning to stand down, push people back, not want to entertain that. Like, I don't entertain that. My son talks about, he taught himself chemistry during COVID. You have to go online. It's probably hard for you to understand what he does. He talks to me, so I have to understand that. And my girls can't even grasp that. I have to keep my mind clear. I can't be worried about no gossip and stuff like that. So when he called me, he meeting all these millionaires and billionaires, and he closed deals with Enrail and Shell. I'm not bragging, you know what I mean? And some French people, and he done went to Dubai and everything. When he's talking to me and he using certain lingo and verbiage, I gotta have a clear mind, because I have to encourage him and support him and give him that comfort, and I have to understand what he's saying, right? And so you could have pushed back because you might not be the same woman. I think it took you a while to get there, and I think that's how men see you. I'll be right back. Anything else? You could be stubborn, my way or the highway. How do men see women in power? 1, 3 of Hazard. You got the Hierophant twice. Marriage material. You could be a Christian. Now, Hierophant talks about, oh, that wasn't no Hierophant twice. That was the Justice card. My bad. You could be a Christian now. Hierophant. Hierophant, Christian or Muslim, some religious faith. You could be prayer warriors and stuff like that. What is this? Truth, advice, education. People could come for you for that. Pay attention to, I channeled it. I don't know what that says. We use information to make a clear choices. You could be very judgmental at one time. You see him on TV, and then you don't get all the facts, right? Because we have justice, right? But I do feel like a lot of you guys turned over a new leaf, right? I do think you're overly religious, which is a good thing. That's what you want to do. But I think men see you that way, right? You know, because you have to know what the ego is. So I come in, I'm saved, I'm an evangelist, I'm in the church, and that's your ego. But who are you? Who's your character? You know what I'm saying? I remember when I lived in my town, there was this lady, she used to drive past me every morning, and I was staying with my friend, and she was a nice friend. Her mom was nice to me, and I would speak to her every morning. She'd never speak to me, and I was like, she don't even look good. I'm not the same Tara. I'm ruthless, actually. She don't even look good, but because they made her an anointed pastor, that's how she felt. I done traveled the world. That doesn't have anything to do with it. It's about character. If you don't know how to be kind to people and speak to people, what does that mean? There's no love there. That's all performance, right? And so, and I say this was years ago. I don't know how the person is. I don't care. I don't care about none of them. But at the end of the day, because they have their own lives and they should be elevating, right? And that doesn't mean that I'm mean. It means that I have my own life. And so this could be a very religious pal, a self-righteous pal, a hypocritical pal, and that's how the men see you, and it took you a long time to get there. Let me ask this question, and I could be wrong, but look at the Justice card. Look up the Justice card. The Justice card, it talks about karmic debt. You have done some things to people, women in this pile. Now, let's make no mistake. We live in a world where women can be very, very shady, very, very catty, stab you in the back. You know what I'm saying? Or, or malicious or venomous or mean-spirited, right? You could be a stepmother and go to church every day, and you don't even speak to anybody. You get what I'm saying? You're selective, right? That ain't nothing with, that's not benevolent. That's nothing to be proud of. But then you might want to talk to my son because you need something from him, right? But I'm still his mother. You get what I'm saying at the end of the day? So you could have selective unity, selective who you be around, and they're low vibrational people. I don't care if they're rich, poor, middle class, used to be homeless. I don't care if they're in the church. My right foot is burning, and I feel like that's how men see you. And ladies, I don't know if that's a good thing, whether you change your life around or not. You have to open yourself up to real love, real unity, real congruency, real good character, right? So my name start with an R. Why I hear garbage on the bed? What the hell? Garbage. I think once you make the connection, you're very lovable. I feel like men and women can love you. Like I can hang out with you. I could be around you. This is a mutual love. This is a soulmate card. So I think when men or women fall in love with you, they really love you because there's something about you. Some of you guys could be married for a long time or be in long relationships. When it comes to love, you don't have an issue with that. It could have been some of your behavior. So as you grow, as you develop, you know what I mean? This is a good card. This is the card I want. That means that men take you seriously. They love you, but you had a journey. You had a journey. I hear somebody lesbian in this pile, but they love you. This mutual, right? But there's a lot of growth here. Maybe you paid a lot of your karmic debt, and now they look at you differently. Let me see. Yeah, because you feel like you had a lot of challenges. You had a lot of ups and downs. Your life could have been complicated. Like maybe you didn't get it mentally, physically, spiritually, socially. I don't hear. You know, I'm hearing socially. What's the essence of this? I'm gonna have to. I'll just finish this. I have something to do. You could be very creative, very passionate, right? This is the Two of Cups. I don't want to leave you, make it negative, but you've changed. This is the power. Like I said, you're slow to arrive, but you change, right? You're very lovable, right? Let me see. How do men view women in pile 1? Oh, God, I got 2 more piles. These women going to be like, oh, my God. Oh, that's what I was saying. Men see like women are gold diggers, and not all. This is generalized. I'm talking to you as a adult. I'm hoping that you understand that only take about 10%. And say this shit don't belong to me, and don't generalize. This is not tailored to you, right? Because I give people the benefit of the doubt because I feel like their cognitive abilities is up to par and they're highly intelligent. That's how I take people, right? So you know that this whole reading isn't from you, but men feel like there was a lot of growth, right? Give me the whole essence. How do men see women in power 1? You know, some of you guys can still juggle, and I talked about that. Like you have to have a balance. You have selective unity. You have picks over people. You could alienate people. You can make people feel ostracized or feel like they're the black sheep, or or they're beneath you, and you get to decide on how you want to juggle them, and that doesn't feel good, right? And this one is the Queen of Wands. This is known as the Mistress card. Very beautiful. I think you guys are beautiful and attractive. Or you have the it, and she's very supportive, but she's not the leader, right? She's not the leader of the King of Wands, and maybe you feel like you can play that position. And maybe you feel like people overlook you, or if you have to step into it, but she's still, and some of you guys are witches. You get what I'm saying? Or do tarot card readers and psychics and seers. People go, what is a witch? Look for the witch from the definition from Africa, from India, or from Aborigines. Don't look at the European word witches, right? You get what I'm saying? A lot of you guys use your body, your looks. You know what I'm saying? She's known as the Mistress card. Anything else? So that's how men look at you. Yeah, you could juggle careers. You could have a couple different, I don't feel that one. You could have had some mental, I don't feel that one. Anything else? How do men view you? Again, I came out again. Slow to get it. That's all, I'm slow to get it. So it feels like I'm being harsh, but you were slow to get it. Slow on arrival. This is slow to whatever dynamics in your life, whatever position you played, how you impact other people, your kids, your friends, your family, your co-workers. You were slow to get it. But eventually, hopefully, you get it. I feel like you got it because we got the Two of Cups, and that's a beautiful card. I feel like you got it, but you could have caught a lot of karma in your life. What goes around comes around. What goes up come down. And if the people that you did it to didn't give it to you, your own family, your mother, your friends, your man, or something like that, somewhere you got that karma, or you will get it, right? Slow. I give you one more. I know. What is the essence? Slow to get it. You could be a nonconformist. Some of you could be divorced twice, very independent type women. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you have traveled a lot. You like to do things your way, nonconformist. Or they look at you, you want to. Some of you traveled a lot. I'm hearing some of you guys have been all over. You traveled at different foods and, and met different people, and you've been exposed to that. And that's kudos. That's the strongest energy. And some of you want to be more free-spirited. And that's how men see you. Like, go ahead and live your life. Do you. Be you. Right? You know what I'm saying? Anything else? Because I feel like I'm going to end it with this. They feel like you're at the critical point. Like maybe you're in relationships that outlive their usefulness. Maybe you around people, places, and things don't have the same vision and mission. And they keep you stuck. They keep you restricted. You know what I mean? So you can't really elevate. You can't really grow. Think energy. Everything I said, think energy. You could be rich, popular, everybody love you, you got a great family, grandkids, or you know, you're young, you're off to college. Just think energy, right? But the energy is saying that somewhere that you're in a crossroad and somewhere that you have to decide on what direction you have to go. Maybe you're pivoting, maybe you're refocusing. What do I need to do? I came to this crossroad in my life and I was like, what direction am I going to go? Am I going to go backwards and keep getting the same outcome? You know what I'm saying? And after 2 or 3 months and they go, oh, she a spiritualist now. All she talk about is her kids. And I don't want to be in those type of environments, right? Because it's not going to last long. So I wanted to elevate it. I wanted to heal. You get what I'm saying? I wanted to work on my self-esteem, my self-loathing, my self-worth, my courage, my confidence. All those words mean something. People just take them and act like they know what they mean. Actually look up those words. I wanted to know what was the difference between high IQ and intelligence. They're different, right? I have intelligence. Intelligence is better than high IQs. High IQs just mean that you have good skills, that you can pass some standardized tests, that you can work for somebody. Intelligence is put me somewhere. I can figure it out. Men and women, indigenous people been here for centuries, for thousands of years. They didn't have standardized tests. They just had instinct. They know how to figure it out. They know how to survive. I hope I'm freeing somebody. So those are just examples. Do I want to stay, follow a religious route? You know, do I want to come out the closet? Do I want to be more free-spirited? Do I want to get out of this relationship? Do I want to get away from a Malua people? The men view you as there's something, some tapped energy that hasn't actualized. Sorry, you haven't got to the best part of you as a woman, and they feel like that you're in a crossroad in your life and you don't know what direction you want to go. You might masquerade it and pretend that you do, but maybe the energy is saying that you have a decision that you need to make. I don't even know what the decision is. Some of you might have tough love. Maybe you have to cut off some kids that was on drugs. You know, I mean, tough love works, but I don't tell people what to do, and then sometimes it don't. I don't know. But somewhere you have a decision to make. You know, maybe you want to be a better woman, you know. So that's how men view you, and I could be wrong. Get off my channel.